That's round 7, day number 3. I'm of course just Live VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by these plushies as well. Welcome everyone. It has been 5 hours. It's been 5 hours since our last broadcast. We were live earlier today with ESL Urban Cup Americas. It was an amazing tournament. I was fortunate enough to cast with Chicken Man earlier as well. We covered the finals and the semi-finals of ESL Americas, and now we're here with our second broadcast of the night with some WTL, with some World Team League action. We're jumping to our first series of the night. It is going to be Team Vitality versus Berserker eSports. Let's go. We have our lineups now. To be transparent, as a heads up, usually WTL is over the weekends, and we did cast day 1 and day 2 live. This is day 3, and this was held on Sunday. This was held 2 days ago. Alas, at the time, we were busy casting Sparkling Tuna Cup, and I'll be honest, usually we go Sparkling Tuna Cup and then we just catch up on WTL, but I was insanely tired. I've been having a hard time getting rest recently, so I just didn't have the energy to keep going from one broadcast into the other, so we did set this broadcast to the side. We wrapped up with Tuna Cup, then we called it after that, and we're going to be catching up here tonight as we have no other events. Like, there's no other big event going on at the moment, so we have a free day, we have a free slot in our schedule, so it's time to cast some more StarCraft. It's time to keep the cast going here. We're getting ready for our first set of players. Oh boy. Again, Team Vitality featuring Ryung, Solar, and Maru. They are the reigning champions as Onside Gaming, but now I guess rebranded as Team Vitality, or partnered with Team Vitality, and now we have Ryung versus DNS. Let's go. Gonna be a very, very clutch one. You can see the predictions in the chat as well. These are the Discord predictions, which we have been holding on a weekly basis. And we have 42% in favor of the 2-0 for Ryung. We have 57% in the 1-1 and 0% for the 2-0 from DNS. So for the most part, a lot of people are favoring a tied 1-1 score. We've got a good amount with the 2-0. I think I went, oh god, what did I go for? I think I went 1-1. If I remember correctly, I think I was in the 1-1 boat here in the predictions, but we'll see. We'll see how this does turn out. Again, Ryung is an amazing player, but DNS has been impressing us. That's why I'm kind of leaning more along the lines of the 1-1 tied score, but we'll see. We shall see as we dive into this game 1. It's going to be on Dynasty. Let's go. Our TVP does commence, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Ryung for Team Vitality. Bam. And in the bottom left, we have DNS for Berserker eSports. Here we go. We have our players. We have our first series. As a reminder to the format of this tournament, it is a best of 7 between Berserker eSports and Team Vitality. That is first to 4 wins, but the best of 7 is constructed by best of 2s. It is 3 best of 2s back to back to back. Even if it's initially a 4-0, the entire series will be played out regardless. So it could be a 6-0 technically. True. It could be a 4-2. Could be anything in between. And likewise, there's potential for a best of 1 ace match if we are 3-3. If we're tied up all the way, we can go all the way to the ace match as well. That is also possible. For now, though, we have our best of 2 before us. Now, how this works is the first map is predetermined. The first map is set by the organizers and admins of the event ahead of time, and then the players are given a couple of days to prepare for that map, prepare for this match. As a reminder as well, when the players are selected, when the player rosters are selected for the starting maps and all that stuff, they do not know what map they're loading into initially. They don't know. The map is selected after the players are set in stone. So players, they can't like snipe maps, for example. That used to be the case in Pro League. In Pro League, the maps were known ahead of time, weeks ahead of time, and then teams would assign players to specific maps. The downside of that is that in that format, in that kind of setup, it did mean there was a lot of mirror matchups, because there were certain maps that are more Zerg favored or Terran favored or Protoss favored, and a lot more mirror matchups would be occurring on those maps as a result. And this is a way to counteract that for the WTL format. It is a way to, stop those mirror matchups and allow for a little bit more chaos to ensue, which I'm all for. Speaking of, one of the big features of Dynasty is the gold base, and Ryung is bold enough to go into the gold. Interesting. Okay, the goal base is before us here from the side of Ryung. Rushing into it, DNS does confirm. Likewise, we can see Ryung is checking the goal base as well of DNS. Does confirm that there is no expansion at the pocket location. And Ryung is going to be skirting around the edge, is going to confirm the base that has been taken. Does confirm the Nexus. And again, it's on DNS to try to punish Ryung. Now, the reason why you don't often see the goal base taken is because it is quite vulnerable to aggression, whether it's Adept harass, Stalker harass, Oracle harass from the side of Protoss, or even a Hellion, Cyclone, Reaper, or anything ranged, basically. Oh. That's a... Suddenly music. I'm a little bit thrown off, not gonna lie. There we go. But we are gonna be settling in. Shout out to, of course, WTL. They handle the production. They handle the production for the event, and suddenly blaring music. It was jarring, but it's all good. We're jumping in. We are going to be jumping in. It is going to be a Stargate opener from DNS. We're going into Phoenixes. Meanwhile, Adepts are going to be threatening the mineral line. They have arrived. There's a Cyclone in position, but SCVs are under fire. Yeah, one SCV does go down. So far, so good. It's like suddenly SC2 OST. Let's go. But we did manage to get one worker kill so far. Additional Adepts are being sent across the map. Tank production has begun, and the tank is going to be prioritized to protect that mineral line. This is a Ryung variation of build. Basically, Ryung is doing this is a Byun variation, as Byun is also quite fond of rushing into the first tank to protect the mineral line. 2 SCVs go down. Again, you can see how difficult it can be to protect this mineral line. We get worker kills, we deny mining time. So far, so good from DNS as it comes in once again. Does come back in. It gets another 2 SCVs, 4 worker kills in total. And Ryung having a hard time protecting this mineral line, having a hard time mining, at least until the tank arrives. Speaking of, the tank has arrived. The tank does make it, getting in position, going to be able to siege up here at the natural. At the same time, we have our Phoenixes threatening a dive towards the main. The goal base now looking a little bit more secure. So far, DNS has done a great job when it comes to punishing the mineral line and punishing the economy. Meanwhile, DNS back at home up to 44 workers as a result, still rallying Phoenixes across the map. Still rallying on over. Oh my god. These Phoenixes do pull back. And no damage dealt by the Phoenixes yet, but we're at least containing Ryung to 2 bases. Back at home, we have the Bay on the way, and we didn't get to see this earlier today, but now we can embrace Phoenix Colossus. We have the Bay, we have the Robo, we have Phoenixes, and soon to be Colossus on the horizon. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes, they dive into the main. Get one more SCV. Nothing major, but at least we haven't lost any Phoenixes. Adepts are pulling back. And DNS taking the forward third. Third base is getting up and running. First Colossus should be on the horizon. And once we can get into those Phoenixes... Oh my god. Once we can get into those Colossus, we're going to be secure. Until then, we're just trying to keep Ryung pinned back home. Ryung is looking to move out. Upgrades are finishing up. Medevacs have arrived. Now Ryung can push. As he moves out, he is spotted. Phoenixes, they attempt to slow him down, forcing back the army. Ooh! Cyclone does get a lock on, does get some hull damage on the Phoenixes. DNS has to pull back, and Ryung is sending it across the map. Hoping even to catch the Phoenixes. Oh, bleeds out a Marine. A bit of a chaotic push here from Ryung, but he's pulling all of his army together. And with the help of this tank, with the help of this army, we can try to punish the third base. Colossus has, I believe, just popped out. We have 1 Colossus to defend. At the same time, Ryung getting a 3rd CC on location. He's not all in. He's making his way across. But by the time he gets here again, we have 2 Immortals, we have shield batteries, we have force fields. And speaking of, we do catch a Cyclone. Not a bad start. Cyclone goes down. Ryung pulls back, but at the same time he's going for the double drop into the main. Does slip away. And so far unscattered. Uh-oh. DNS did miss the drop. Did barely miss it. And here we go, Ryung slipping right into the main base, going for the production, going for the tech. Ooh, Forge is going to go down. Massive pickup. +1 is denied. And can we deny charge? Uh-oh. And we will deny charge as well. No major economic damage here, but regardless, massive pickoffs. The Forge and the Twilight Council, massive delays on the army. And now DNS is that much more vulnerable. You can see Ryung attempting to pull him apart. At least DNS has Colossus, right? At least he still has Extendable Lance on the way. His Colossus will be able to hold the line, but his Gateway army is going to be lacking quite a bit, actually. We're going to be stuck with slow lots. We're going to be stuck with 0-0. I'm concerned for DNS, as Ryung is building up and now moving out with an even greater army. We got Marines, we got Marauders, we got just the one tank. We haven't gotten into any additional tank production, but Marine Marauder is all we're going to need. Meanwhile, thanks to the turrets, thanks to our map control, the goal base is untouched. I mean, it was a rough going early on for Ryung, but I mean, now it's fully operational, is kicking in, making up for our earlier losses. Ryung being active, still not committing. Meanwhile, DNS taking the gold as his fourth. See if he can get up and running. Observer does get eyes on the army, does spot the rotation. But might get shut down. That does let Ryung know that there is an observer. He is aware, and we do almost catch a Phoenix as one Phoenix goes down. Scan, does he spot the observer? He barely misses. No. Barely does miss the observer. Ryung still on the hunt. Once again, his army is spotted. DNS is repositioning, looking to defend his fourth. And now we do see a DNS catching up with those upgrades. You can see here a charge is now done, +1 attack, soon to be finishing up as well. Ryung has yet to commence 2-2. Despite being ahead on upgrades, has yet to really embrace that. Prioritizing ghost production instead. Also, don't think I didn't notice you, Werehog. I love me some Terran flavored maps. Lots of salt. Let's go. They can be quite salty, but tasty. Savory, papi. Savory. It's beautiful. That's the Werehog. As Ryung is moving out. Now, because we've taken our time, we do have shield batteries, cannons, overcharge going to be available as well. And this choke point is a little bit brutal. With 3 Colossus, it's going to be difficult to push into this. And Ryung has to back up. Getting his own fourth. Is rotating around. As Ryung rotates, we do see DNS moving out with his Warp Prism. Both players are maxed. 2-2 now starting up for Ryung. DNS, now that we've taken extra gases, is working towards a second robo and double disruptor production. And this is still anyone's game. Sure, Ryung has map control, but DNS with his disruptors has a lot of potential. Can still take a fight. Zarama is going to be dealt with. Bunker now on the way. Ryung still unable to push in. I mean, sure, Ryung, he can deny the 5th base, but on a 4-base setup, DNS can still maintain himself. Army still being spotted. Ryung trying to find some stray Colossus. Get some Phoenixes, not bad. Decent kiting, 1 Ghost goes down. Just the 1. Prism does go back in. DNS is maxed out, so he can actually warp in more than 4 Zealots at a time. So we go in for the dive air. We have a planetary in position. Likewise, Ryung stepping on forward. Oh! Does avoid the Nova. Races the army. But pushing into these 3 Colossus is so difficult. And massive swipes going off. We pop the overcharge. DNS does sustain himself. And Ryung is being forced back. Again, pushing into disruptors is not an easy thing to do. So we might just decide to avoid the main army. Meanwhile, massive warp in into the main. Uh-oh. And Ryung does not have much at home to defend. There's not much at home. 1 Colossus goes down. Ryung trying to go for another, alas, unable to. And it's being forced back. Vikings will shut down the Prism. Zealot's going ham. They're going for the eBays, going for the upgrades. And they point out one eBay goes down, and we're going for the second. Earlier, Ryung denied +1, but now we deny 2. Now we deny 3-3. We denied both eBays. Massive pickups. 3-3 is denied. Ryung's bio army worse for it. And again, he just hasn't been able to break the defenses of DNS. Now, DNS has taken the Northern 5th. Ryung is unaware, is going for a Doom Drop, and has to apply some pressure, has to get some kind of damage done. But he is spotted. Yeah, very fortunate Zealot for DNS. He does rotate over, he spots the drop. And DNS, he can just shut this army down. He flings on forward, gets one medevac. Doesn't get the other. As a reminder, DNS did lose all of his Phoenixes earlier, so it's going to be a little bit harder to keep up with the drop play. But DNS is in a bit of trouble. Sorry, DNS? Ryung is in a bit of trouble, is what I meant to say. I'm a little bit surprised here. My apologies. I assumed that we had denied 3-3. We denied 3-2, as that is still +2 armor on the way. So Ryung falling further behind in those upgrades. Meanwhile, we have Fusion Core on the way, Cloak as well. Fusion Core should be for Liberator range. DTs are in the mix. Ryung, keen eyes, he does spot them. Very nicely done there by Ryung. Does spot those DTs, shuts them down. Shut them down as we do see Ryung once again marauding around, denying the 6th base, but it's the 6th Nexus. DNS is still in a solid economy. One more Colossus goes down. But what about the Disruptors? What about those Novas? DNS still being very patient. Has put up his army. He's able to keep up. Now, at this stage, I would love to see a Fleet Beacon. From the side of DNS, I would love to see a Fleet Beacon. I'd love to see +1 air attack and a work towards Sky Toss. As DNS is maxed and building up a bank. For now, we're sticking with a ground-based army, but there is potential to take up even further than this. We'll see if DNS even feels the need to. Now, once again, punishing the bio. But especially because the bio is so hindered because of the lack of upgrades, like, because we have that much freedom, we can try to take advantage of that. Meanwhile, EMPs are connected. Oh my god! We did catch Stalkers. Bit of miss micro there, or miss movements from DNS. Miss pathing, that's what I'm looking for. Likewise, we catch a Ghost. Ghost goes down. DNS pushing forward, gaining ground, but we have to be careful. We have to respect the concave that Ryung is setting up. DNS will pull back. Ryung going for the dive. Dives on forward. Nova's going to be going off, but they will connect. 2 decent connections, and DNS, does he take the better fight here? It's getting close. The Disruptors are looking vulnerable, but most of them survive somehow, some way. And DNS does take the better fight. And Ryung, he plummets in supply. And the Nova's connected, the Disruptors survived. The Gateway army stands strong. And Ryung in a lot of trouble. Finally finishing up +3 attack, but it might just be too little too late. DNS still committed to more Disruptors. DT's warping in. Oh, the Disruptors, no! Finally, we do catch 2 of them. We finally punish some of these Disruptors, but alas, it may not even matter. At this stage, it may not even matter here. As DNS is pushing on through, now threatening the bases. DT's on one end, the main army on the other. Neva's once again going up. The base under fire. And it does feel like Ryung was kind of the wind has been taken out of his sails, at least for quite some time. Has been on the back foot. Novas, they will connect massive connections on the army. And Ryung just doesn't have the numbers, doesn't have the supply to work with. Yeah, the base will fall, and so will the army. Nice juggling there from Ryung to save those SCVs, but alas, there's only so much he can do. And GG gets called. DNS takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. DNS does start things off with a win here. I mean, Ryung didn't look too bad in the first half of the game. If you remember, Ryung gained map control. Ryung was able to deny the 4th base, to contain, to marauder around the map, but he missed the 5th. If you remember, at a certain point, DNS took his 5th base towards the north, and Ryung was unable to really contest that expansion. He was busy posturing outside of the gold, outside of the 4th, and he was having a really hard time pushing in. Remember, he was trying to assert himself, but he was running into Colossus and Disruptors and Novas, and Ryung was not gaining any ground, and the defensive position there for DNS was far too great. And Ryung, it just took him a little bit too long to start to rotate and punish or try to threaten other bases. He was hyper fixated on the gold, and that was ideal for DNS. DNS held the line, and DNS was able to, at that point, not just recover, but also get ahead, right? That's when he was able to harass across the map, deny the upgrades, able to eventually take map control away from Ryung, max out himself, and yeah, really impressive stuff. Really impressive play there by DNS. And now it's going to be Ryung's map of choice. Is going to be his map of choice, and where are we going to be loading in? Okay, we're going to be getting into Crimson Court. Crimson Court coming up next. Interesting map choice. Crimson Court has some unique features as well. Some of the biggest ones, of course, being the much more defendable linear 3rd bases for both players. Drop play can be quite effective on this map, just because for a ground army to maneuver between the bases can be a little bit awkward at times. But here we go, we're loading on in. And in the top right, we have Ryung for Vitality. And in the bottom left, we have DNS for Berserker eSports. Catching up. I would like to know why my house is so cold. Rowdy, I need you to warm me up, Papi. I need you to warm me up. My house is also very cold. For those that are curious, it's winter here in Australia. It is winter, and it has been very cold for the past couple of weeks, I would say. Maybe the past month. It's been very cold. I mean, it was colder last week, I think. It was colder last week, but it's not been good. Just catching up. I see Easy Phil in the chat. I see Rowbags as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? All doing well. See Noam Chomsky. Senor Sadsack. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Oh, I see Migs. Miguelito. Bendito Turtle. But I hope you've all been having a great week. I hope you're all looking forward to the weekend as well, as this weekend is going to be the the EWC qualifiers, the Esports World Cup. Qualifiers are on the horizon. And we will be all over that. Until then, we do have our openers of choice. So Ryung opening up double gas opener into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Meanwhile, DNS going for a gate expand back at her. A gate cyber expand even. Actually, no, yeah, gate expanded to cyber core. So a bit of a greedier build here by DNS, cutting some corners, delay the cyber core a little bit. As the probe gets into the main, gets a full scout, Reaper will shut this down. But not before getting eyes on the factory. And as we settle into game number 2, our shout out to Trombiola, papi. Oh my god. Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Mr. Sadsack. Thank you. Ga, papi, ga. Gracias. Thank you so much for gifting a sub in the chat. And shout out to Mr. Sadsack for getting the sub as well. Hope you do enjoy it. Hope you enjoy your emotes, the content. Gracias, papi, gracias. Do appreciate Trombiola. Do appreciate it. As we are settling in. You have Ryung going for his own counter aggression. Ideally getting some scouting information, and we do get eyes on the technical choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener. Looks like Blink on the horizon for DNS. Blink is on the way. We're getting there. There are charge-based openers. True, they're a little bit more rare though, and DNS I don't think is really one to really embrace a more chaotic style like that, something more aggressive. So Blink, something a little bit more robust, defensive at times as well. Can be quite flexible depending on how many gateways you throw down. 2, 3, or even 4 gates, and there we go. Blink is on the way for DNS. Meanwhile, Ryung is embracing his 1-1-1. We spoke about the double gas opener out of Ryung that led into a faster factory, which is leading into a faster star pro, which is leading into cloak banshees. So we see what the extra gas and the tech of choice is for Ryung. Is going to be cloak banshees. I believe there's a tech lab on the way on the factory, so he's going Banshee tank. And he may be going for a committed 2-base push. We've seen a lot of tank Banshee here in TVP over the past couple of months. It's been very trendy amongst the Korean Terrans, amongst the European Terrans as well. Post Katowice, they have been embracing it. Reaper does delay the expansion. Ooh, Reaper goes down. I believe a 2-gate blink from DNS. It is Ryung moving out with the Banshee, I believe. Ooh, may have just been spotted by those Stalkers. Yeah, it is spotted. We have the defensive warp in. It looks like a 3-gate opener here from DNS. 3-gate blink into a 3rd. Very safe opener here from our French Protoss, from our red Protoss even. I believe it's 2 gates in the main and 1 gate at the natural. And with this kind of setup, we have extra warp-ins, we have extra Stalkers, and we should be able to keep up with the aggression of Ryung. But it isn't just Banshee, it's Cloak Banshee. There's a shield battery in the mineral line, and DNS does spot this. Main army moves out. DNS also has eyes on the main army. Does follow it with the observer. Yeah, so far Ryung not gaining any ground. Stalker's able to blink back, able to chip away at the Marines. Tank volley goes off. Not a bad tank shot. Tank volley does go off. Additional tanks rallying across the map. Ryung throwing down 2 more Raxes. He's keeping the pressure up. And he's encroaching upon that 3rd. Bunker's on the way as well. Bunkers have begun. That's going to be a kill in the first bunker. The tanks are now within range. We do have blink. We do have 2 shield batteries. The base taking a lot of hits. The bunker not quite done. And we are running out of Marines. Yeah, there's the overcharge. DNS, he will break out. The Immortal goes straight for the tanks. And the Bio Army crumbles. Oh my god, the Immortal goes down. We just dive on the main army, focus on every single tank. And DNS, has he broken free? I mean, he shuts down the tanks, but the Bio Army is still going for the base. It looks like DNS has enough. We do have enough. I say that it's going to be close. Is forced to recall, bleeding out more Stalkers. The base is getting so low. But with the help of the Immortal, we should be able to break down that bunker and clean this up. It was close, but DNS holds. Does hold, cleans up the Bio Army, shuts down the tanks. And that was a very committed push by Ryung. Very committed. And what did he get for that push? I mean, he traded with the army. He got 1 Immortal. He got a good amount of Stalkers. True, but he was hoping for more. He was hoping for at least the Nexus. And now Ryung has to back off, is expanding, taking a 3rd base. At least the Banshee survived. We can see the Banshees rotating around. Oh, yeah, that was a rough position for that shield battery. And 2 Banshees can one-shot workers. They get 2 probes so far. We get 2 probe kills. And at least the Banshees do escape. At least they survive. Ryung, meanwhile, now expanding, taking his own 3rd. And we're entering the mid-game. We're calming things down now that the aggression has subsided. We're getting into a longer game. That's a gateway explosion. I believe charge was researched, so we're getting into charge lots. We have Colossus on the way for our splash damage of choice. DNS just refining his army. And getting his fourth. And the pressure is on Ryung. Once again he moves out, and once again he's spotted. The observer sees everything. DNS spots the main army, but despite that, Ryung, he dives in. Overcharges popped, and where are the charge lots? Where are the zealots? Where is the support? There we go, desperation warp in. The Colossus has arrived. Whew, just in time. But DNS was forced to pop that overcharge. So now it's on cooldown. Another warp in is going to be ideal. Marauders, they're going for the base. The Nexus getting very low. One more volley. Oh, it's so close. The Nexus is so low. We go for the dive. The Stalkers, they blink on forward with in front of the Marauders. A couple of boys are being pulled. The Colossus is getting low. And it looks like DNS is barely breaking out. It gets a tank, but only one. Yeah, we still have 2 tanks. They still hold the line. More zealots on the way. Tank volley is going off for the Colossus. And when the base goes down, we get the Nexus. Ryung, he barely gets the Nexus. He's being cleaned up. It cost him everything, but he got it. The Marauder even going for the dive and does not get the Colossus. Vikings on the hunt. And the Banshees, they get another base. A second Nexus is going down. Things going from bad to worse now for DNS, losing the third and the fourth. And DNS, he was so close to holding there. So close to holding that base, but now has lost both. Again, we just needed one extra warp in of Zealots. Or even the Gateway's finishing up a little bit earlier. And now Ryung, he's on 3 CC, getting a 4th on location. Ghost Academy's on the way. The damage has been done, and what I'm concerned about now is Ryung's next push. The second wave. Because DNS, he's falling behind in the economy. He's going to have a hard time replacing his army to reinforce and get more warp-ins. DNS is in trouble. Is in trouble. It's not going to be an easy road for him. The Banshee's going ham. Don't quite get the Colossus. But DNS is pinned back at home. And doesn't really have the freedom or the abilities to go for any kind of counterattack. There's no Prism, there's no extra warp-ins. DNS is strapped for cash. Third base getting back up and running. Still no 4th in sight. There we go. There we go. Now being rebuilt. And for the Terran player to be up a base is, again, a terrifying thing. Position you don't want to be in as a Protoss. DNS blinking on forward. Tanks do siege. Tank volley's going to be going off. Banshee's going ham as well. We shut down the Zealots. We're getting on top of the Colossus. And DNS, the Colossus looking very vulnerable. We can send one forward, we can chase them down, and we can focus on every single Colossus. They fall one after the other. And the army of DNS crumbles. Aye, aye, aye. Did catch the tanks. But that was the backbone of DNS's army going down. He's down to a handful of Zealots, a handful of Stalkers. Yeah, this time here in Game 2, Ryung, his aggression has been a lot more successful. I mean, it was close. Like, the initial push, DNS did hold, if you recall. That was, in the aftermath of that, the base had gone down to half HP. Where DNS did initially hold. It was the next wave, the next attack that, unfortunately, DNS was just not quite ready for. Didn't have the army for it. Didn't have the supply. Now Ryung is building up once again, getting a 5th CC. We don't need it. We don't need a 5th base. Ryung moving out once again. Does move out. We have 3 CCs on the way. A little bit excessive. Ryung getting ready to mass expand. I mean, again, he does have quite a comfortable lead. He can afford to be a little bit greedy. And And even though Ryung did struggle in game 1, here he's found his stride. A nice EP on the Zealots. Ghosts are going down. Not the best fight here by Ryung, but he shuts down the Colossus nonetheless. And the Colossus full reinforcements have arrived. Shield battery is finishing up just in time. And we do have the overcharge. But even with the overcharge, it may not be enough. As Ryung, he focuses down the shield battery. And it looks like he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking through the main army. GG gets called, and Ryung will tap the series 1-1. GG. We will have that tied up score. DNS able to look much more in control. Hold on. I need to zoom in. You can see Maru, he's got like a massive like white box like attached to the wall next to him. And that doesn't look like an air conditioner. It's massive. It's like attached to the wall. It's new. It wasn't there before. It wasn't there like 3 weeks ago. We had some people theorizing that that it was like a fridge, like a fridge suspended in the air. We had other people theorizing like a heater, like a water boiler, which is crazy. But here we go. We're jumping into our game and spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have Maru for Team Vitality, and in the bottom left we have GunGFuBanDa for Berserker eSports. Huge unit. Washing machine? It could be a washing machine. The problem, okay, so regardless of what it is, the problem with it, like saying it's like a fridge or like a washing machine or an air conditioner or something, is that it's massive and it's like right next to his head. Like that's the thing that gets me. It's like right next to it. It's as big as him as well. Like he can fit inside it. That's a Maru-sized unit. That's where he incubates. True. It's where he recovers. He charges up inside it, Papi. It's his shower. Could be. I mean, it could be dual purpose. If it's a washing machine, it could also wash him. You know? Could just dip in for a tumble and come out sparkly fresh. Beautiful. I'm sure it's like a hot water system or something, but like, remember, it wasn't here 3 weeks ago. Like, this is new. Like, whatever it is, it's new, you know? So like, a hot water system wouldn't make sense, but in a way it wouldn't make sense because like, it's not like he was lacking hot water before. Like, he had it. But now he's got something else, you know? It's crazy. Are you saying Maru is washed? Kappa. Let's go. Maybe it's his PC. It couldn't. Could be like a beast of an extended PC. Maybe. What else could it be? I'm trying to think. A dishwasher. Okay. Like I don't know if you can see it. It's got like a little sticker on it. It's got like the energy saver sticker. You know how it shows you like how energy efficient it is and how like eco-friendly it is. Like I'm pretty sure it's got that like rating sticker on it. So it's, you know, it's efficient. Regardless, we're getting it. We are getting into this, selling into our next matchup of the night. Do you see Maru going for a CC on the low ground? I believe it was a double gas opener initially. Starport's on the way. Likewise, GunGFuBanDa going for a Twilight Council opener. Do we have to ask Crank? We do. We need to find out. Like a charging station for like a set of Roombas. It wouldn't like it's too big for one Roomba, but maybe like a team of 6. Like 6 Roombas pile up inside it. Maybe. For now, it is going to be interesting. A Mind Drop opener here out of Maru. Did open up, I believe, initially with Hellions, and we do see it, yeah, our Hellions being active on the map, but there are those Widow Mines behind this, setting up for the drop. We spoke about this, but both Beyond and Maru have been embracing these one-on-one drop openers a little bit more as of late. They did fall off quite heavily after the patch, but now we do see them sprinkle them mid-series. You know, 1 or maybe 2 games in a best of. We go mind drop towards the main. We'll see if GunGFuBanDa can respond in time. So you dive in. Widowmines do borrow GunGFuBanDa. Oh, late to respond. Ooh, massive connection. 6 probes go down, and the Widowmines will even escape as well. Ay, ay, ay. Strong start here from Maru. 6 probe kills in the mines. They can come back in. Hellion diving into the natural. And I believe with the mine drop, we also got eyes on the Twilight Council and on the upgrading research. Yeah, we are aware of the blink. Maru does see all, and he's coming back in, this time into the natural. GunGFuBanDa a lot faster to react, does pull away. This time he does respond. Mine shot catches another probe, so that's going to be 7 probe kills so far. 7 probes for 1 Widowmine. And Maru, he's an animal, he comes back in! No shot. No reaction! No! We have to liberate the main! And another 6 probes fall. Oh my god. 2 probes to the main base and 4 more in the natural. Ryung pushing right down mid. Right towards that third. Oh my god, that's 13 probes going down for 2 Widowmines. And the Widowmine's still alive! No shot. The Widowmine is resetting. Liberator comes in to support it. Liberator does come in to support. We do delay mining at the natural. Maru sieged up, catches the Stalker. Tank volley's going up. And Maru just waiting for reinforcements. The Liberator repositioning, headed for the main. And you can hear the shots going off. Probes are going down. And Liberator going ham in the main base. Tanks are sieged. They go ham on the army. And Stalkers are falling. Brutal trade. It looks like GunGFuBanDa will clean this up. He will survive this. He will defend. But it cost him every single worker. 18 probes go down. And we're still not done. 20 probes. Oh my god. 22 worker kills in the main and the natural. Likewise, GunGFuBanDa. Yeah, you can see him shaking his head a little bit on cameras. It's been a rough game so far. The Widowmine harassed, the Liberator harassed, just the aggression of Maru. And now GunGFuBanDa can move out, but alas, a bit of a desperation move out. He needs to get damage done. Runs into the main army. Stim is finishing up in a couple of seconds. And GG gets called. Maru will take game number 1. GG. But you can see, it's like got the energy saver thing. And it looks like you can open it. It does look like you can... Maybe. So getting into game 2. And in the bottom right hand corner we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the top left we have GunGFuBanDa for Berserker eSports. Let's go. Is this live? The cast is live. The games are a couple of days old. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time, maybe just now tuning in, just to reiterate, usually we do cover WTL live, and we casted day 1 and day 2 live, but day 3, this broadcast was broadcasted on Sunday. This was live on Sunday, and we were otherwise preoccupied. We were covering a different event on Sunday, so we're catching up with World Team League. We're catching up today. A couple days later. Here we go. You have once again another double gas opener out of Maru. This is going to lead into a faster factory. We've seen different variations of this opener so far. We saw that Ryung, this led into Ryung getting into Banshee play on Crimson Court against DNS. We saw a more committed Widowmine drop opener out of Maru in game 1, and we'll see what this leads into in game number 3. Oh, sorry, I should say game number 2. Will we be getting into, once again, Banshee play, into a mine drop? Could go into committed Reaper Hellion, or even into earlier Cyclones. Maru does have options. Catching up. Well, his playstyle is clean. There you go. The biggest mystery. As the probe scout of GunGFuBanDa does confirm the factory at least, and the double gas. Recoil will save the probe, and it's on GunGFuBanDa to be able to keep up and defend against the initial aggression of Maru. See what it's going to be. We do have the reactor on the racks. CC going to be on location. And we'll see if we go for an add-on swap or not. It looks like we're going into Reaper Hellion. Oh, never mind, the Hellion is cancelled. The Starport starting up instead. Got my eyes on that production tab. And Widowmine production, not the Hellion. So we can enter a drop play once again. So far looking like another Widowmine drop. I mean, it was quite successful in game 1. What I will say, if we do rely on another Widowmine drop opener, is that I'm sure GunGFuBanDa is going to be a lot more prepared. Like, physically and mentally, I'm sure he's going to be a lot more ready for something like a mine drop. Despite how successful it was in that first game. Meanwhile, the Reaper does bypass the main army, gets into the mineral line. It's going to be shut down. So we do have a Twilight Council opener. Twilight Council was already spotted. Maru is aware of the blink. And we do have additional Widow Mines on the way. I'm loving the stray Widow Mine in the middle of the map. Designed to catch any kind of harassing unit. And the drop play is soon to move out. And we have additional gateways on the way. GunGFuBanDa settling in. It's going to be a 3-gate blink opener. And last game we did have a double Widow Mine drop. It looks like once again we have 2 Widow Mines in the medevac. And 1 Widow Mine going to be scuttling in towards the natural. You can see it is repositioning. The Widow Mine is spotted. Oh, sorry, the medevac is spotted. GunGFuBanDa does respond. Yeah, this time he's in position. This time he does pull away. And the Widow Mines won't get much damage done. Meanwhile, we do waddle into the natural. He's not paying attention. We get 2 probes. No! Oh, massive connection. 11 workers go down. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. You can see GunGFuBanDa shaking his head on cams. Like, he kept up with the medevac. He shut down the first drop, but alas, it was merely a distraction. Maru, he waddled into the natural, 11 probe kills, and we're not done. We still have 1 Widow Mine in the medevac, and the initial Widow Mine is still out on the map. Looking for more damage. And we'll find it! Oh, another Stalker goes down. Widow Mine scurrying away. We'll drag the army towards the right-hand side. We still have that Widow Mine or the medevac still poised in the corner of the map. And Maru building up towards his biotank. And the aggression doesn't end. Doesn't end there. Auto charge harass in the natural. Probes are falling. Maru's still building up. We have Stim on the way. Combat shields +1. And soon we will move out with our biotank. With that 2-base push. And because of the economic damage done earlier, that means that GunGFuBanDa, a lot of his money, a lot of his resources being spent in re-establishing his economy, just securing himself. And that does mean that the production has been delayed, the warp bins have been skipped. That does impact the size of the army. So we're getting to our first Colossus. And here we go, here comes the push. Maru's moving out. He is spotted by the Observer. GunGFuBanDa is fully aware. Is aware of the move out, but just because he knows doesn't mean he can stop it. Trying to take control of the high ground. GunGFuBanDa has to pull back. There is no interference matrix. There's no matrix, but there are auto turrets or even the Dorito cannon available here for Maru. The tanks, they do siege. They're within range of the base. tank on a bit of an incline. But it is within range, and yeah, GG gets called. We don't even get the final fight, and with that, Maru will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Maru will take the 2-0. Some rough games there for GunGFuBanDa. Again, it was just the early game harassment from Maru, which was just popping off. Game 1, it was the mine drops with the Liberators. Game 2, similar story, where Maru was just able to cripple the economy early on and then go in for the kill. You know, a bit of a 1-2 punch there out of Maru, both in Game 1 and in Game 2. Very solid play, very clean play out of Maru. And with that, Team Vitality take a lead. And now it comes down to Solar and BattleB. Solar needs one. Solar needs one win here to claim the series for his team. Meanwhile, BattleB has to fight back and take 2 games in a row to force the ace match. Now, I believe that BattleB can take a game. 100%. BattleB is an amazing player. He's been popping off in WTL. He's been getting better and better results. And I want to believe he can take it to Solar. I believe there is another chair there, but I don't know if there's jerseys as well. Oh, we're loading in. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the bottom right, we have BattleB for Berserker eSports. Let's go. Are settling in. And again, BattleB, he has been on the rise in the European region for quite a number of years. He did take some time off at the beginning of the year and did step away a little bit, but it's great to see the return of BattleB. And again, has been impressing us quite a bit this season of WTL. Has been looking better and better, and honestly, the lineup of Berserker eSports has been quite solid. Whether it's DNS, GunGFuBanDa, BattleB, they are kind of the A team, the A roster of Berserker, and they've been doing well for themselves when it comes to taking maps and even taking series here and there. They're still up against a terrifying team like Team Vitality, but yeah, I want to believe that BattleB can show off and again prove to everyone out there that he is a player worth paying attention to and worth taking note of. Yep, he is up against a world-class player in Solar. For now, we're settling in. It is going to be a standard opener from Solar, Hatch Gas Pool. Likewise, BattleB opening up with a Rax Expand. So nothing too crazy yet. We're calming down. We are going to be calming things down here. Getting into our openers, I imagine BattleB is going to be embracing a 3cc variation, like 3cc 111. See if Solar can keep up. Again, we're loading into Golden Aura. Golden Aura being an interesting map. It can be quite defendable on 3 bases. Getting the 4th, though, can be quite difficult. The 4th is more out of the open, more exposed. Likewise, there's a goal base as well, towards the bottom left of the map. Can come into play in a longer game. But now Reaper has arrived, dancing with the army. And Solar shouldn't lose too much here. He's gonna be able to pull away those lings and to protect that mineral line. Force to expand and take the linear 3rd. Meanwhile, there it is, 3cc before starports. Very economic build here out of BattleB. Does threaten the tumor, but doesn't quite get the kill. BattleB pulling back. There's the 3rd CC on the way. And we're just kind of calming things down, you know, getting into the swing of things, getting into our openers. Nothing too crazy early on. Starport is on the way. We haven't seen a tech lab yet on the racks. If we do see one, and depending on the positioning, we could be primed to go for a Banshee-based opener, which can be quite safe. There it is, Tech Lab is now in production. So we can get into those Banshees. Yeah, there's the add-on swap. So 3CC Banshee here out of BattleB, just a really secure way to open up. You have Hellions for map control to deny creep, to threaten mineral lines. Likewise, you have Banshees to shut down roach aggression and to get across the map, and to likewise threaten the mineral lines of Solar. We'll have access to both. Oh, never... Okay. Okay, so we do go for the add-on swap, but we are not going to be researching Cloak. No Cloak here from BattleB, is just going for vanilla Banshees. Stim is on the way. So we're going to be prioritizing Stim instead. Getting into our bio. We'll see if BattleB does something crazy and throws down an armory. Like double down and work towards a Stim timing. We will keep an eye on him as he's still being active. And meanwhile, from the side of our Zerg player, Solar is going for a lair. So likewise, a bit of a safer opener here out of Solar, going for the faster lair. Should be lair into a Baneling Nest. Is going to be delaying his Evo chambers and delaying his upgrades. Yeah, there's that Baneling Nest on the way. So just a very safe opener here out of Solar. The way this works is that he's going to be prioritizing Baneling speed. It does mean that upgrade-wise, we're going to be falling a little bit behind. We're going to be delaying our upgrades in favor of Baneling production, just in case it was something like a more committed Hellbat push. So Solar likewise easing into the mid-game as well. Now we have those Evo chambers on the way. Raxes are building up. And yeah, overall it's just been a bit of a more passive game here. I mean, especially compared to what we just saw from GunGFuBanDa and Maru, where it was just hyper aggression. Like, GunGFuBanDa had very little room to breathe in that series. Here it's a very different dynamic. As the Banshees do get across the map, Solar's in position. Does zone the Banshees away. Likewise, Hellions, they do threaten the mineral line and they will get in, but alas, Solar likewise pulls away. Doesn't lose any workers, not yet. Not yet here. At least BattleB is, for the most part, maintaining control of the creep. Making sure it doesn't get too far out of hand. It is connecting the bases and is encroaching the halfway mark. Is getting there. Meanwhile, Solar, he's not going pure Ling Bane. We have our follow-up tech of choice. It's going to be a Hydra Den here out of Solar. It's going Ling Bane Hydra. Can eventually lead into Lurker tech as well. Is Solar's go-to. Or many players' go-to. And finally, BattleB is going to be moving out. Again, we have our 7-minute double tank timing. Very crisp timing here out of BattleB. We have 2 tanks. We have Stim, Combat Shields, +1 or 1-1 finishing up as well. We have our upgrades. At the same time, Solar setting up a surround. Hellions are in position, but they get surrounded. We lock down the Hellions. We lock down the tanks. And Solar will clean this up. Yeah, completely shutting down the army. Again, the setup and the timing was nice from BattleB, but alas, just wasn't able to avoid that surround. Wasn't able to get eyes on the flank. And with that, Solar is looking comfortable. He maintains his creep. He maintains his position. The drop is deflected. At the same time, BattleB moving out on the right-hand side. Is moving out with a second wave, a second push. And we'll see if we can deny the 5th. As Solar, he's already on 88 drones. A solid economy. He is going to be receding. Now, Solar may have a solid economy, but his army is still not quite where it needs to be. As I say that, the army does on siege, and we collapse on the tank. Hot pickup, we do save the tank. We shut down the army, we force it back. Banshees are cleaned up. BattleB still being active, knocking down these Tumors. Numbers are going down. But last Solar, once they get knocked down, he's there to bring them back up. Plenty of Queens being active. Creep is being respread. And Solar has gone away with his droning. What's terrifying right now is that Solar, remember, he was on 88 workers earlier, and now he's maxing out. Now he's actually making use of that economy. And he's maxing out on Link, Bane, Hydra. Lurker Den is on the way. Hive is on the way. We are lacking creep towards the top right-hand corner of the map, or the top right side of the map, so we could try to keep pushing there and try to work our way towards those northern hatcheries. BattleB doing a good job at clearing up all this creep, at least, towards the south. But we'll see what that leads to, as both players are about to max. There is going to be a window here where BattleB has 2-2 over the 1-1 of Solar. So there is that window available, but that window is closing. And behind it we have Adrenal, we have the Lurker upgrades. No Lurkers yet, but once we get into the upgrades, we can invest. We can get there. For the last BattleB, he is kind of cornered to his own bases, is stuck at home. Solar now stripping and taking the map control away from BattleB. And this is the moment for Solar to start getting that creep out of hand. And the creep is spreading quite freely. BattleB trying to fight for that, but alas, Solar's in position. The creep now creeping up on the bases here of BattleB. Liberator sieging up. Nice spread there from our Terran. Shuts down the Changeling, shuts down the creep. Ghost production has begun. And Solar is threading the bases but unable to break through. Basically, BattleB turtling up. We have libs, we have tanks, we have our Sim City. We're turtling up on 4 bases and soon to take a 5th. And the goal right now for BattleB is to hope and to take as best fights as we can. To force these more inefficient engagements, have Solar overextend, and trade poorly against the defensive setup here of BattleB. And so far so good. So far BattleB, he's kind of absorbed these attacks, clearing out more creep. And it should soon expand. Now this 5th base is going to be very exposed for BattleB. It's on the low ground, it's got multiple angles of attack. Before we can even talk about the 5th though, we're pushing in towards the 3rd. And Blinding Clouds, they cover every single tank. Baileys are rolling in. And where is the Bio Army? BattleB, he's out of position. 4 tanks go down. We do at least save the SCVs, but Solar, he's not done. We're going to keep on pushing. We shut down 1, we shut down 2 Liberators. We're rolling into the bases. Again, BattleB, he's out on the map. Wasn't quite where he needed to be. And Solar, he's still not quite done. Pushing into the natural, getting into the armories. Back at home in defense. He's got Queens, he has reinforcements. And he's going to get another tank. Another tank is going to go down. Ooh, just barely. The tank does fall. And Solar, he has broken the back of BattleB. The 5th, the 4th, no mining whatsoever. BattleB stuck on a 3-base economy. And we're rocking up once again. The tanks were on siege! Ah, brutal moments. The tanks, they were on siege. We get a full surround. The Liberator doing well against those Hydras. Okay, not a bad trade. You can see here, without any Banelings, BattleB did not take the worst fight there. Cleaned up the Lings and Hydras. Solar has to back up. BattleB is holding on. Re-expanding. BattleB did at least save most of his SCVs. Once again, another Blinding Cloud. Ooh, Bailings, they do crash into the tank. So not the best connections there from Solar. See BattleB re-expanding towards the left-hand side. But you could see, especially with this game state, like how brutal it is to be active on the map. Where just as BattleB moved out on the left-hand side, that's when Solar committed on the right. And Solar, he broke through, he was able to shut down a base, shut down almost 2 bases. BattleB was being active a little bit too soon there. And here we go, the Lunkers, they have arrived! Lunkers, they hit the 4th. Laying siege upon the base, 8 SCVs go down, we're going for the base itself! And the command center does catch fire, Nidus into the main. Lurkers do rotate around. Meanwhile, that low ground 5th base is actually looking that much more secure. That's a solid line of defense. We have tanks, we have liberators. Nidus Storm does finish. Lurkers, they do slip into the main. At the same time, Blinding Clouds cover the tanks. Solar looking to break on through, doesn't quite break through the tank line. BattleB is holding. BattleB is holding on. Looking to maintain his own economy, his own production. But the scary thing here is that Solar has both fringe bases. Solar, he has top right and bottom left. As a bank, can remax and can just keep on going. Solar doesn't have to trade efficiently. Just trading with the army is good enough. And the Lurkers, they get back in. They bust back into the main. Detection has arrived. Ghost under fire. But a nice spread here from BattleB. Will eventually clean this up. It's going to cost him a lot of ghosts, though. We just spoke about this. Solar trading even 1-to-1 with the ghost is good enough. As these are losses that BattleB he's struggling to afford. More leagues slipping in. I believe we have Maru. At the same time, we hit the 3rd base. SCVs are going down. BattleB being pulled apart into the main, towards the 5th, towards the 4th. Cannot keep up. Blinding Clouds being thrown down. Solar breaking through into the natural. Again, very little to defend. BattleB repositioning with those libs. Does attempt to reposition. But as a result, he gets caught on siege. GG gets caught. Just a little bit too much chaos in the main and in every base. And Solar takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Solar does take the first game in a very solid fashion, right? Solar, for the most part, he was in control of that game. Like, he was looking very comfortable. If you remember, the first push, the first attack of BattleB was a little bit lackluster. It was a strong timing with all of our upgrades lining up, but the attack itself was shut down quite hard. Like, Solar, he was all over it, able to collapse on the tanks, on the Hellions, able to clean it up, able to quickly get map control. And BattleB was holding his own. Initially, if you remember, BattleB, he was able to even catch Solar overextending a couple of times. But there was that moment. There was that moment where both players were maxing out, and BattleB moved out on the left-hand side with a very committed drop, which meant that his bases were exposed. And that was just the moment where Solar hit that triangular 3rd base. He was able to break through, get on top of the tanks, blinding cloud every single tank. And there was no bio to defend, right? There was no bio to support those tanks. The tanks went down, the base went down, and that was kind of the beginning of the end, where BattleB was just stuck at home, stuck defending, and Solar was just never allowing him to move out, never allowing him to be active. Whew. And here we go. It is going to be BattleB's map of choice, and it shouldn't be a surprise to you. Dynasty. Dynasty is one of the most vetoed maps in the map pool, but for those who are unaware, no vetoes. There are no vetoes in WTL. It is a purely loser's pick. So BattleB going to be forcing Solar onto Dynasty, and I'm curious how Solar approaches this. I'm very curious. Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the bottom left, we have BattleB for Berserker eSports. Here we go. Here we go. BattleB German. Yes, yes, BattleB is German. Doing pretty well so far for a German Terran? Question mark? What do you mean? Seaberg, why are you clowning in the chat? Oh, you can see the doggo. Ah, it's so cute. I don't know if you noticed, Solo, he's got his little doggo in the background. Ah. Patrolling. But we are settling in. We're settling into game number 2. Settling into that second game. And again, we're loading into Dynasty. Dynasty, of course, being a little more favored towards Terran and Zerg players in this kind of matchup against Zerg. Sorry, Terran and Protoss players, what I meant to say. Zerg players usually do veto this map. The reason for this is because of the gold. The gold base on this map is quite difficult to take yourself as a Zerg. The reason for this is because you have no secure way to shut down ranged aggression. Likewise, you have no ranged aggression of your own. Because of that, we've seen a lot of roach all-ins. We've seen, whenever we see Zerg players on this map, it's typically a roach all-in. We typically don't see longer, later games or standard games just because of, again, the advantages of this map. BattleB, as we say that, is taking the gold base and should freely be able to expand and take the gold. BattleB likewise confirms that Solar is taking the regular base instead. Regular expansion for Solar. The reason why Solar cannot take the gold is because of Reaper and Hellion Harass. Likewise, drop play as well. In general, range-based units can punish that gold. When it comes to Zerg players, the reason why Roach all-ins are common is because Roach Ravager is a way to punish the gold base. So that's where the Roach Ravager comes into play. The reason why it's a little more common on this map. And we'll see if that's what Solar embraces. For now, the Reaper is going to be dancing in. Forcing back those things. Did Ryung 1-1 DNS and Maru 2-0 GunGFuBanDa? Yes. Yes, those are the current scores. Current results. Oh, speaking of, I should have mentioned before, Solar has taken the series. Solar has taken the series for Team Vitality with a 4-1 score. So Team Vitality will take the win here, but BattleB is here to redeem himself. Here, do redeem. As we do see, BattleB going for an economic opener, is getting into a third CC before Starport. Very economic build here out of our Terran. Likewise, Solar is taking his own third, taking the forward third base here. Again, typically, Zerg players don't take the gold base until they get map control. You know, they can take the gold as a 4th, maybe as a 5th base. Until then, standard bases for Solar. So getting into our Hellion Banshee. Are going to be settling in. And so far so good. Basically, BattleB looking to take an economic lead. Really, we're just looking towards that 7-minute push. We're looking towards the eventual tank timing here from BattleB, lined up with all the upgrades, with Sim, Combat Shields 1-1. That's kind of the moment that we're really looking for. Until then, BattleB just trying to maintain map control. His goal is to keep the creep at bay, and likewise harass those mineral lines with the Banshees. Very similar dynamic to what we saw in the previous game. Aliens poking in. So just see it, BattleB just rotating around, gets eyes on the 4th. And I imagine the 4th base is going to be the direction that BattleB pushes when he does move out. I mean, at the same time, Lings, they do go for a big counterattack. We have reinforcements. Lings are forced back. We have Marines. We have the Hellions racing back home as well. Taking this seriously. The Lings, they get one SCV kill, but only the one. BattleB has defended. Just like the previous game, BattleB hasn't really been too adventurous with the Banshees. We saw both in Game 1 and now here in Game 2, he hasn't really gone for the mineral lines. He hasn't attempted to. Instead, he does reinforce his Hellions. Trying to lay siege upon those Lings. As we got to be surrounded. Oof. The Banshee taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage. The Banshees are forced back. BattleB pulling back home, and unfortunately for BattleB, he just hasn't really been able to contest the creep too much. Every time he pokes in, the Queens are there to stop him. And the creep is looking quite healthy for Solar. Once again, getting towards the halfway mark. And that will slow down the push. Will slow BattleB down. Again, being as active as he can. Knocks down 2 tumors, but 3 more are thrown down to replace them. Well, 2 more even. Solar does maintain. Upgrades are finishing up. We can see that this time Solar did delay his Baneling Nest. The Baneling Nest is just now finishing. Basically, Solar, he delayed his lair and his Baneling Nest in favor of Double Evo Chamber. So because of that, his upgrades are on par with the upgrades of the Terran. Something that was not the case in Game 1, but we can see Solar just cutting some corners here in Game 2. And this is the timing we were waiting for. Let's go. We're moving out with everything we have. We have our tanks. We have our Bio. Hellbats morph in. 1-1 is done. This is a BattleB's moment. Now, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of creep to work through. A lot of creep to bring down. This time we do have the Hellbats to help support those tanks to prevent the surround. Ooh, Solar does waste some Banelings. Does waste Banelings on those rocks. Attempting to set up a surround. Remember, Baneling speed was delayed. Reinforcements are going to be able to hold their own. They shut down the Lings. Do force them back. Baneling speed finishing up in 10 seconds. And by the time it does finish, the base is going to go down. It's getting close. And the base will fall. Solar making 12 more Lings. Or, sorry, 12 more Banelings. The Baneling cannon is building up at the same time. Solar going for a massive counterattack. Yeah, he breaks through. The wall was open. Marines are going down and we break into the main base. But came the production. And BattleB has to commit. He has to keep pushing. Lean Bane rolling forward. Once again, the tanks will fall. But the spread from BattleB, a little bit too good. Solar has to retreat. Back at home, we get 20 SCV kills. Crippling the economy. BattleB wasn't all in, but now it has to be. He has to be that much more committed. Lings are getting into the natural base, into the gold. 26 worker kills, down to 34. And BattleB did not do enough damage. He took down a base, that is true, but the economy from Solar is still standing strong. The creep is still looking strong as well, towards the south at least. Drops are spotted. Solar investing into Hive. We have the Ultra Cavern, Vipers, and Adrenal. Now, supply-wise, BattleB still has the edge. Like, BattleB has a massive army. May not have an economy, but may not need it. Is pretty all in and can still win the game with this push. We can still break through. Massive Doom Drop into the main. And Solar, again, his army pales in comparison. He's supply blocked. Overload went down. Supply block is real. Maru does push forward. The Banelings, ooh, massive connections. Ay, 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 the splits were not there. Across the map, we do defend. We have some solid defense back at home with our Marines, with our tank. BattleB did take some Banelings to the face. With that Solar, he holds onto his main. Vipers have arrived. Massively main counterattack once again hitting the gold. The economy was already in shambles, but now even more so. As BattleB has no longevity in this game. It's all or nothing. One way or another, the game is going to end. The tanks lay on siege. The Ultras have arrived. And with the help of the Ultras, we can break through the bio. There's just not enough of a backline, not enough of an anchor point. GG gets called. We break through the main army, and Solar will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. BattleB not looking too shabby in that last game. Compared to game 1, I mean, sure, you know, we forced the all-in. The economy was crippled. Solar did break into the main and got so many SCV kills. But that main push from BattleB was achieving quite a lot, right? He broke down a base, he was trading well with the army. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite keep the pressure up and couldn't keep going. The drop into the main was a little bit lackluster. BattleB got shut down, and in the end, Solar did hold. GG. Congratulations to Team Vitality. They will win the series 5-1. And we're going to be going in a short break. When we return, we will have our second series of the night. We will have Mystery All Gamers versus Weibo Gaming. See you soon. See you soon. Going on that short break. Take this moment, get some water, get some snacks, get some food, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.